All right, let's talk Premier League. Herc, big news on Sunday. Chelsea sacking manager Graham Potter after less than 7 months in charge. This after Chelsea lost 2-0 at home to Aston Villa. The Blues currently 11th in the table. Still alive, of course, in the Champions League. They get Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. Bruno Saltor, who was part of Potter's staff at both Chelsea and Brighton, will take over on an interim basis. Herc, let's boil this down to Christian Pulisic. Is this good news or bad news for Pulisic?
Same news, rinse and repeat. I mean, I think this is what gets people with Christian Pulisic. He's easily he easily has one of the best club careers in Europe for a U.S. men's national team prospect player, and he's only 24 years of age. It's not debatable. You look at what he's done. He's already won a Champions League. He's done a 10-shirt at Chelsea, the goals, the assists, how young he is, everything he's done. You just keep waiting for him to explode to that next level. This is the face of U.S. soccer, et cetera, et cetera. But then you ask yourself, well, why did he have troubles with Frank Lampard? In trouble, he couldn't get on the field, or couldn't stay healthy to stay on the field, or he didn't get that opportunity. And then it was after Frank Lampard, it was Thomas Tuchel. Certainly he would get that opportunity with Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel gave him his opportunity, gave him his first team debut at Borussia Dortmund. And then it doesn't work out with Thomas Tuchel. And then we hear the things about him writing a book, and Thomas Tuchel being in it, and his displeasure with Thomas Tuchel. And then it's Graham Potter. Things will certainly get better. And it's the same thing. He doesn't play with Graham Potter. And then when he does, he gets injured. And you're always waiting for Christian Pulisic to explode. You're always thinking to yourself, when is it going to be Christian Pulisic's time? And it got me thinking about something that a former teammate of mine, DeMarcus Beasley, he once shared a story with us. And DeMarcus Beasley was talking about how he got called back to the national team with Jurgen Klinsmann. And Jurgen asked him what happened at Hanover. He was there at Hanover, had a stint, and he didn't play much. And DeMarcus said something to the extent like he didn't know. He didn't know why he didn't play much. And Jurgen kind of had a talk with him like, hey, Bees, there is no coach in his right mind that wouldn't play a player that would help him win. And sometimes it's the players who have to take ownership of their actions, of their responsibilities, of the opportunities they have or have not shown they can get or earn. And that's where I think Christian Pulisic has to take a little bit of a responsibility, a little bit of look in the mirror, because it can't always be, it's on Frank Lampard, it's on Thomas Tuchel, it's on Graham Potter. Sometimes, and maybe this time, it has to be on Christian Pulisic. So whether Graham Potter leaves and the next person comes in, that doesn't matter for Christian Pulisic. This may be too much water under the bridge with Chelsea, and he needs to leave. But the next place he does go, that next place, it needs to be on Christian Pulisic, because you've seen the flashes, but they've been just that. And he's easily, and I repeat, easily one of the most successful players in Europe in a U.S. men's national team jersey that's ever played already, and he's 24 years of age. But if he wants to get to that next level that he's shown flashes of, it needs to be on him.
Potter leaving is definitely not good news for Christian Pulisic. It's bad news for me specifically because of the relationship with Pulisic and Potter. Right after the World Cup, Pulisic got 3 straight starts. I know we talked about it in our production meeting. You didn't put that much weight on that, Herc. But for me, that was really important. That was just before the transfer window. He was given an opportunity, and he started 3 straight games, including the one that he gets hurt in, the big one against Manchester City. Beyond that, maybe like a couple weeks ago, we saw a report that Pulisic and Chelsea might be considering an extension, and a lot of that was Potter's interest in the player. So I think Potter specifically and Pulisic could have worked out for the rest of this season. I don't know if it changes, like you said, his future at Chelsea. I disagree with you here. I think, Herc, when you look at the reasons for why Christian Pulisic, at the end of the day, we probably won't call his Chelsea career a success, I think you can talk about the injuries. You can even talk about the form. But the top of the list for me is the instability at managers. This is his 4th manager since he got there, Herc. And there's not a young player that's going to go into a situation like Chelsea and you're going to change over manager after manager after manager, and it's going to work out. I go back to year 1, and I know you mentioned Frank Lampard. That was Christian Pulisic's best year at Chelsea. In
Pandemic
34
year,
games.
no fans in the stands.
In 34 games across all comps, just listen to these stats. 17 goals or assists. So basically a goal contribution every other game as a 19, 20-year-old in your first year in the Premier League. Christian Pulisic had the quality. He never had the confidence of his manager. Were there other reasons? Yes, but a lot of that is because the manager never stuck around long enough. There's a huge what if. There's an alternate universe for me, Herc. If Lampard stays at Chelsea and succeeds and Pulisic stays with him, I think this is a totally different conversation.
You're right. It's Lampard's fault. I'm just saying, and I know people don't want to hear this, and I don't want to say it, but at some point it needs to be on Christian Pulisic as well. And we keep giving him a pass because of the flashes, because he's the face of U.S. soccer. But at some point, it's on him. It's his responsibility. And Thierry Henry famously said he needs to free himself. It's just one of those situations. Only he can help himself.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.